There is a world where witches rule the northern skies, where ice bears are the bravest of warriors, and where every human is joined with an animal spirit who is as close to them as their own heart.
Are we going to see the child?
I should think so.
But this world is dominated by the Magisterium, which seeks to control all humanity, and whose greatest threat is a golden compass and the one child destined to possess it.
What's it for?
It tells the truth.
Are you familiar with the prophecies of the witches?
You think she is that child?
The witches have predicted the coming of a special child who's going to change the history of the universe.
She will decide the war which is to come.
If there was a character that I would have picked to play anything, then it would have been Lyra.
She's certainly got a spirit, a beautiful, strong spirit, which I think shines on screen.
I mean, they're very complex but very exciting books. I mean, they're about being a human being. I mean, about how difficult that is to be, and about growing up.
The journey of Lyra, it's very beautiful, very moving.
She goes to rescue her friend Roger, who's been kidnapped. She meets a lot of people, like the Egyptians and Mrs. Coulter and Lee Scoresby and Derek Benson.
It's a great story, it's a great yarn.
Miss Lyra, are you ready to fly?
When I read the manuscript for these books, I really felt as though I had discovered something very new, a new voice.
Are you the girl the Magisterium seeks? The one with a symbol reader?
His Dark Materials was really, for my money, it was the future. It was sort of the next evolution of fantasy literature. It was taking the best of the past, but it was reshaping it.
It begins in a world that's much like ours, but that is a parallel universe.
That's odd. She acted as though she'd never seen a person's demon before.
Come on, Pan.
A demon is an aspect of a human being's personality which is external and has the form of an animal. It might look like a cat or a snake or a bird or something, but it's part of the person.
Stop being such a coward. If I weren't such a coward, where would you be?
When you're a child, it has the ability to change shapes.
It's cold up there.
So Pantalaimon, who is Lyra's demon, is able to change into all kinds of shapes.
He's not constantly changing. It depends on whatever her mood is and how she's feeling.
I will not have my niece slithering around like an alley cat.
Pan really is the mirror, they're the mirror image of Lyra. I think having a demon is like, instead of wearing your heart on your sleeve, it's your heart walking side by you.
Pan, it's her. She's running the gobblers.
We've got to get out of here. Somebody's following us.
When you get to puberty, when you sort of become an adult, it fixes shape, and that's the person you are. Lord Asriel has a snow leopard, and that's who his inner self is.
It might be possible to read this as a sort of tragic thing. Oh, what a shame, we're not children anymore, we're all fixed. But there's a gain as well, and the gain is strength. It's knowing yourself, knowing what sort of person you are.
Mrs. Coulter's demon is a golden monkey. Like Mrs. Coulter, the monkey is glossy and sleek and beautiful on the outside, but also manifests her rage and malice.
If you do not obey me, we will have an argument which I will win.
Please, it hurts!
It's not a pet, it's you. It will follow you and it will do your movements and it will feel what you feel.
It's like having a sort of split personality in a way, because your demon can argue with you, can advise you.
I do beg pardon. Lee Scoresby. And this old gal is Hester.
Oh, Lord. Lee, when you gonna learn to mind your own business?
Right again, Hester.
Cut! Cut again. It demands patience and ingenuity on the part of an actor as to act with someone or something that isn't there. A kid has many advantages because they're closer to the time when they played with imaginary animals.
People get a little longer through there. And even
Whatever disadvantages came from Dakota not having been in a film before were far outweighed by the fact that her powers of imagination were still pretty active.
Will you concentrate?
Cut! Any CGI movie requires you to think about two movies at once, which is kind of the movie that's going to be laid on top of the live-action movie that you're making.
And, you know, we have some of the best special effects guys in the world who are going to figure that out.
Let's try and keep the background clear, a little VFX play. Roll the reference.
Nicole, holding the golden monkey, she needs to know how much it weighs and where the head's going to fall and all those kind of things. So she'll be sitting there either holding this green sock or pantomiming in the air, and we have to make sure that we can squeeze our guy in there.
You know, when you go to drama school, you do all these classes in mime where you pretend, you know, to be patting a dog, or you pretend to be finding the walls and picking up a teacup and drinking tea, and it's all imaginary. So it certainly is useful. I tell any actor, don't skip those mime classes.
In Lyra's world, the ice bears are sentient, talking polar bears who are the most feared mercenaries in the world.
If I was on the kind of scout that I reckon you're on, I'd hire myself an armored bear.
An armored bear?
She's very curious about these creatures, and she wants to meet one, longing to meet one. When she first comes face to face with one in this dirty little rundown town at the edge of the Arctic Circle, and he's so impressive, he's so big and so dirty and so smelly and so rough, she falls in love with him.
I will serve you in your campaign until you have a victory.
And these bears are Panzerbjorn. They're not polar bears. Panzerbjorn are warrior bears. They wear sky iron, they fight battles that are much bigger and longer lasting than real polar bears.
It's almost entirely virtual, and there's some really talented animators working on it. Well, in the movie, the bad bear is called Ragnar Sturluson.
Our greetings to you, great king.
His movements are a little more sinuous and sly than Yorick's.
What have you to do with Yorick Burnison?
Ragnar is a bit more twitchy and a bit more dangerous in that sense, because there's a sense of his having quite a sort of schizophrenic, paranoid personality. The job is to convey on screen the sheer brutality and violence that takes place when two bears fight. We were always figuring out different ways to provide as much information as possible to Dakota while having the least possible information for the computer guys to have to take away in order to replace with the bear.
I wasn't sure how big the bears would be, because I knew that they would be a lot bigger than me, but I wasn't sure if they would be like one paw the size of me or something.
Sometimes we could have Tommy, our lead puppeteer, Tommy Luther, manipulating either a bear head, or even in extreme instances was in kind of a crazy bear puppet suit that he himself designed in order to give Dakota a sense of the size of the bear, where he was going at what particular time.
That was one of the funniest things I've ever seen on the set. I thought he looked like a skinnier version of the Incredible Hulk, but without the purple shorts.
It's pretty extraordinary these days when someone gets a role like this, which is such an important role in such a big film, without having been on film before. Dakota has never been on a screen anywhere.
They all love Lyra, and that's why they're here.
Some people like come up here like all dressed up and everything, but like there's no point because she's just a normal girl like everyone else here. She's got quite a different personality. Yeah, she's very brave, she's quite mischievous.
She's mad and she's kind of normal.
And like once she said she's going to do something, she's going to do it.
She's a bit like me, really. It's really amazing, really.
We always thought we'll know her when we meet her.
The net was cast very wide.
In you come, folks, quick as you can.
Literally thousands of young girls in various open casting calls throughout the country.
And on each occasion, a lot of kids turned up.
Everyone got their form?
It so happened that it fell within the Easter holidays. And I thought, you know, Cambridge is a nice place for a day out, let's go.
There had been people sleeping there overnight, and so there was a really big queue, even though we were like one of the first people there.
We saw about 2,500 other girls that day, and so you've only got a tiny moment to look at each girl.
Should we go up right now?
Yeah! You went in groups of 50 to 100. You said your name, your age and where you came from.
Dakota was actually quite quiet and sort of looked up at you from under her hair, but her spirit was very clear through her eyes. There was an energy and an interest and a slightly cheeky side to her.
I was nervous before I got in there, but then once you were in there, they just made you feel really relaxed and stuff.
There was definitely a spark about her, which suggested that the more you got to know her, the more interesting things you were going to discover.
Will you concentrate?
I came in when we were down to about 40 likely candidates.
We introduced him to a small number of children, and I think it was very apparent that Chris connected with her immediately.
To be honest, it was a bit scary because I think he was like one of my first times of actually meeting an American.
You're coming north with us.
She had a natural, intelligent, spirited, and not entirely tamed quality.
You wouldn't understand.
Yes, I would.
I don't see why.
She loves the books, so she's absolutely perfect for this because not only does she convey the part well, she really understands it.
Echo Charlie, take 1A camera.
We all felt pretty confident that she could do it because she exhibits a lot of the personality traits and character traits that Lyra has.
Lyra!
I'd had a bad day at school and I came home and the phone rang and Mum goes, "It's them!" Picks it up and it was Chris and he goes, "Can you put it on speakerphone, please?" And so my mum's not very good with technology. And so she hung up on them and they had to call us back. And then like when they finally did tell me, I was really excited and I didn't know what to do, so I screamed and I did the Snoopy dance.
Clear the set, please.
My mum wouldn't have taken me to the audition if it had been raining or anything. Neither of us thought that I was actually going to get anywhere with it.
It's not even as if she'd ever aspired to be a movie star.
She didn't really want to be an actor. She wanted to be Lyra.
See camera.
Hello, Lyra.
The witches in Lyra's universe are one of the many factions and cultures in this very rich series of novels.
They're very beautiful. They have like a kind of Raphaelite look, you know, ethereal, very sexy actually.
They live for hundreds of years. They live up in the north in harsh climes. They don't feel the effects of cold. They can fly, of course, which is a biggie.
Oh my God. I mean, the flying was a big challenge for me because I'm so scared of heights and I'm so scared of, you know, getting on the plane and I don't know, it was just, it's all in the head actually.
3, 2, 1, action.
I would like to say that it was some kind of brand new technology, but essentially it wasn't. I mean, it's wire flying as has been done throughout recorded history.
It was very difficult to land confidently, actually. It's more the balance and everything, you know, the fact that you're very high and you can't really look because you're going to be sick, so you really have to focus straight. And I'm not strong enough, you know, I'm not very centered, so I worked out a lot with my stunt friend, Miss Michelle, and it's good. I'm stronger and I'm more confident physically.
And action!
Then sometimes when we see witches at a distance, they're actually CGI witches. They have to look quite elegant and at the same time quite dangerous. And when they arrive en masse, they're the cavalry. They're kind of the air cavalry.
I'm not the most physical person on earth, so it's a challenge. It's good. I'm always thinking, oh my God, I will never make it, and I'm going to look, so ridiculous. And I'm so proud of myself. Actually, I made it.
Here we go. Yes, camera.
I will protect her, Cora. Being an actress, you have so many opportunities to learn things and skills, and I can say to my friends, I'm flying, yeah.
Yeah. 1, 2, 3, and.
Our composer for Golden Compass is Alexandre Desplat, and he's just great. He's a great collaborator, a really beautiful, melodic, lyrical writer.
Each of these characters have their own theme. Yorick has his theme. He's the noble warrior of this story. His main instrument is the French horn, and he has a very strong, lyrical, valiant theme. For Lyra, she's multiple. She's a child, but she's going to become the chosen one who has to save the mankind.
The look of the world. Dennis Gassner's done a brilliant job of making the world look sort of like ours, but sort of different as well.
It's really amalgamating ideas, taking bits and pieces of interesting pieces of architecture that create a new signature. And having a new signature is what, a parallel universe needs.
The designs look terrific. The costumes are spectacularly good. They're all absolutely right.
Mrs. Coulter was easy because she's described as being the most glamorous woman in the world. So, you just let your mind go into what you consider would be the most glamorous woman in the world. And with me, it was very much that sort of Greta Garbo image, that sort of Marlene Dietrich. Super, super, super glamorous, and Nicole fits that so easily and beautifully.
Cut, very nice. Let's check that.
She's been very, very supportive of these costumes, which have not been easy costumes to wear, and she's been completely at ease wearing them.
She really helped me. I mean, when I act, I can kind of get lost in somebody else's skin and I can hide behind a character. But if I had to walk down a hall like that as Nicole, forget it.
Action! Lord Asriel were the costumes I was most confused about because I think that I started off seeing him almost as a Victorian hero. But when they cast Daniel, he was struggling, I was struggling, and as I was struggling, I said to him, this is really very strange because I bought this piece of fabric for you, and I don't know why I bought it, really. And I produced the tweed that we made the suit of, and we both looked at it and went, yes, of course.
Well, that period, all those guys who were going up to the North Pole or to the Antarctic were kind of wearing all sort of, like tweeds and leather boots. And then so you look at the stuff that people wear today, which is, this like Gore-Tex or whatever it is to keep warm. You can't imagine how people actually managed, but they did.
Who are you? My name is Serafina Pekela. The clothes have, an ethereal quality, not from this world, shimmery. And it's quite interesting because, witches wouldn't wear any heavy clothing or shoes because they wouldn't sense the world around them.
Serafina is very much a sort of warrior than she is in the sort of wispy, flippity-gibbet sort of person that flies through the air. I mean, she flies through the air with great strength. The biggest direction I got from Chris was quintessential cowboy.
The way I see it, there's no need for a dust-up. I'm a movie cowboy. Let's get that straight. But I understand that genre, I think, as much as anybody does.
Sam is the part. I mean, there's no dressing. It's just, that's what Sam is.
You say you fella just call it a day.
We had a lot of time with Dakota because it's been very, very important to make sure that she feels absolutely right and that when she puts her things on, she loves them and she knows who she is.
What is this?
Golden compass of the title is an alethiometer, which is a device that points towards truth rather than towards true north. The first thing I wanted in terms of alethiometers is that I wanted it to be a machine. I didn't want it to be a magical device. I think that Pullman's world has a great mix of a sense of awe and wonder, but a real functionality to it.
Oscar, how are we gonna get out of here?
When I first met Philip Pullman in Oxford, he took us to a museum of mechanical pieces and said this is where he got the idea for the piece.
Almost more than anyone else on a film set, I envy the people who make the props. That workshop with all those tools and all that nice new wood and the metal and all that stuff. I'd have a ball there. I would really love it. I really missed my vocation. I shouldn't have been a writer. I should have been a prop maker for films.
When the prop department asked me, what do we make it of? And I said, we make it of something substantial. It has to be made of brass. I mean, if this is something that holds truth, it has to be strong.
War is coming, Lyra. You will need all your skill and all your courage.
I'm a huge fan of the books. So much of it is as I saw it written.
It's not only for children, it's for adults. People can put in what they think and refer to our world, to another world. I mean, however they want to take it.
This afternoon, we venture onto the path of the super smooth detectives. At 4:45, Sherlock finds himself searching for the poisonous letter writer, followed at 5:10 with missing valuable antiques, and Poirot has the clues. Coming next, though, he looked to be a promising chef, and then he disappeared.